I don't know if you use Signal messaging app.
I do. Not for classified information, not for targeting.
Well, neither
not
do I,
for
Senator.
anything remote.
Neither do I, Senator.
Well, that's what your testimony is today.
It absolutely is not, Senator. Were you not listening at the beginning?
No.
When I said that I was using it as permitted, it is permissible to use.
I agree that's your testimony.
Yeah.
I agree that's your testimony. You asked me if I use it, and I said not for targeting, not for classified information.
And I said I don't either.
Why does Senator Bennett sound like this? I did, but I didn't. It's like his teeth. He swallows his teeth before he talks. I did, but I didn't use classified information. Can you open your mouth, breathe, brother? Okay, I know I'm congested. I still have I got a nasty cold. It won't go away, quite frankly. It's probably from China. That was CI Director Ratcliffe speaking to Democrat shill Senator Bennett, talking about the Signal app fiasco that we all know. We broke the story first yesterday on our live stream. And today I'm going to share with you President Trump's response. Not the response that he said yesterday where he didn't know what was happening and he commented on the Houthis attack. A new response. Plus, Pete Hegseth has responded to it, as well as Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, and other intelligence officers responding to this House Select Judiciary Committee today, this morning. I'm going to share with you what they have said, as well as Speaker Johnson. And then at the very end, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. And it's going to be something that you've never heard before. It's not going to be a repeat because I've heard all the content creators, podcasters, Xers, YouTubers, Rumblers, etc., etc. The pundits on corporate media are completely useless. They don't say anything new. New media, which is where I'm proud to be a part of, I've listened to all of them. I've listened to all the people that you probably watch and listen to, and I think I've got something that really divests myself from them. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around. But first, check out this response from Pete Hegseth when the story first broke. Check this out.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic? And were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
The NSC said it was on.
Okay, so that was Pete Hegseth's initial response, saying that no war plans were discussed, and he's absolutely right about Goldberg being a complete cockroach, a complete hack, a spinster, a hoax pusher, etc., etc. We all know that. That's an absolute fact. He's not fibbing there. Listen to Ratcliffe right here go on further talking to Senator Mark Warren about the Signal app in this next clip right here. Check this out.
A couple of comments about Signal messaging using encrypted apps. So that we're clear, one of the first things that happened when I was confirmed as CIA director was Signal was loaded onto my computer at the CIA, as it is for most CIA officers. One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of Signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a practice that preceded the current administration to the Biden administration.
Director Ratcliffe, I've got a series of questions. If you're making the statement, if you're making the statement, the signal is a secure channel.
No, can I answer that? It is.
I've got a series
end-to-end decryption. So to finish,
I understand encryption.
It is permissible to use to communicate and coordinate for work purposes, provided, Senator, that any decisions that are made are also recorded through formal channels. Right. So those were procedures that were implemented. My staff implemented those processes, followed those processes, complied with those processes, and finally, just please. So my communications, to be clear, in a signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful and did not include classified information.
Well, we will make that determination, because if it's not classified, share the text with the committee. Let me go on. Director Gabbard, you are the security executive and set access guidelines for classified information. Did you contact the defense secretary or others after this specific military planning was put out and say, hey, we should be doing this in a SCIF?
There was no classified material that was shared in that.
So then if there was no classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security. Bobbing and weaving and trying to, filibuster your answer. So please answer the question. If this was Director Gabbard, if this was a rank and file intelligence officer who did this kind of careless behavior, what would you do with them?
Senator, I'll reiterate that there was no classified material that was shared in that.
Ma'am, if there's no classified.
So Kash Patel was there as well, and they asked him the same question. He said he knew nothing of the conversation, and that he didn't mention if there was going to be any investigation opened up. One beautiful thing about Kash Patel is that he has caught, God knows why, Biden and his ridiculous, we know why, but Kash Patel has actually caught, out of the top 10 FBI's most wanted, guess how many he caught? All 10. It's literally been, the guy was sworn in like 3-4 weeks ago. He's already caught all 10. Where was Biden? I mean, I just had to say that about Kash Patel. But so you got Ratcliffe, you've got Tulsi Gabbard saying there was no classified information. There was no, this was completely permissible, that the Signal app is a amenable methodology for communication with highly top brass in the security and intelligence community. And obviously the Democratic senators are going to do their political theater, which I watched the entire thing, so you don't have to. Those are the only clips that were worth watching. I want to share this so you don't have to. Trust me, you don't want to. It was a complete show. Caroline Leavitt said this in a post on X. I want to share this real quick. So Caroline Leavitt, who we all love as the White House press secretary, posted this on X. Jeffrey Goldberg is well known for his sensationalist spin. Here are the facts about his latest story. Number 1, no war plans were discussed. 2, no classified material was sent to the thread. 3, White House counsel's office has provided guidance on a number of different platforms for President Trump's top officials to communicate as safely and efficiently as possible. As the National Security Council stated, the White House is looking into how Goldberg's number was inadvertently added to the thread. Thanks to the strong and decisive leadership of President Trump and everyone in the group, the Houthi strikes were successful and effective. Terrorists were killed, and that's what matters most to President Trump. And absolutely, that's true, because check out this new release of Trump speaking to an NBC reporter about what his thoughts are. Check this. So Garrett Hockey spoke to President Trump and about the Signal story, and he said, quote, Michael Waltz has learned a lesson. and he's a good man. The president told me, this is Garrett now, the president told me he believes the story is essentially a non-issue and that Goldberg's presence on the chat had, quote, no impact at all, end quote. The attacks, he continued, were, quote, perfectly successful, end quote. Garrett goes on to say, I asked the president if he were frustrated that the story has gotten so much attention. He said no, calling it, quote, the only glitch in 2 months. And it turned out not to be a serious one, end quote. So there you have President Trump's response to it. Yesterday, he said he didn't know anything about it, which he wasn't, he's always raw and he's always telling the truth. Here's Speaker Mike Johnson speaking about this just literally an hour ago. Let's listen to what Speaker Johnson says about this.
Look, the White House came out with a statement, I think within the last hour. Somebody handed me what they said. They clarified there were no war plans discussed. There was no classified material sent on that thread. The White House counsel is looking into the matter, looking into how this other number was inadvertently added. Obviously, that was a mistake and a serious one. But I just want to say, thanks to President Trump and his strong leadership and all the everybody on that group chat, the leaders on that group chat are extraordinary people. I know them all personally. They're patriots. They're doing a great job for the country. And that was a successful mission. We're taking out Houthi terrorists. That's what the American people expect the administration to do, to restore peace through strength and to act decisively. So, look, they've acknowledged that there was an error and they're correcting it. And I would have asked the same thing of the Biden administration. I don't think anyone should have lost their job over that because an errant number, found its way onto a dialogue between leaders. It's a mistake, but we got to correct it going forward, and they will.
Was the mistake adding the reporter, or was the mistake having a Signal chat about these matters at all?
I don't use Signal. I don't know all the parameters of it, so I'm not in a position to determine whether that's appropriate or not. You have to leave that to others. But I would just say, obviously, we got to be careful with these things, and I know that they will. Mike Waltz is a colleague of mine, former colleague, he was born for the job. He is highly qualified. The president said he has total confidence.
And there is an ongoing investigation, so they still don't know how Goldberg was included in the text chain. But I just got to say this. This is my take here. And hopefully you guys are here because, I love America. I've said it a million times. I'm not right or left. If anything, I'm more of a constitutional centrist. I'm a huge lover and supporter of Trump. I voted for him 3 times. I'm a huge lover and supporter of all of these cabinet members. I'm a huge supporter and lover of Caroline Leavitt. I love what she's doing. I love nobody, including myself, especially myself, is doubting the effectiveness of the campaign against these terrorists. Nobody is questioning, at least of all me, the considerable back and forth, the powerful dialogue, communication, which I think exemplified their hard work in that specific text chain. But somehow this snake, this cockroach, got on there. We've already determined, including Trump, including the White House, including all the authorities involved, we've already concluded that this is not fake. This is not a hoax. There's a lot of content creators and influencers out there that are claiming that this is all a setup. It's all a setup. No. This is Goldberg. Nobody's denying that Goldberg is a cockroach. Probably most of all, myself. Yes, he's a pusher of hoaxes. Yes, he writes absolute drivel. Yes, he's a pseudo-intellectual cockroach, rat, weasel, hack, pundit journalist. There's no doubt about that. But the fact remains, he got in on that. He got privy to information, classified information that could have, thank God it didn't, but could have put American lives in jeopardy. And I'm really shocked, especially by people like Scott Jennings, not so much all these ridiculous rumblers and YouTubers, because, they all say the same garbage just to get clicks and views. But people that I actually admire and respect, they're just saying the same thing. Well, it was a successful campaign. Nobody's doubting that. Well, it was permissible use of communication. Nobody's doubting that. No classified information was shared. Okay, fine. Let's just I doubt that that's true, but let's just give the benefit of the doubt. The fact of the matter remains, you had a very serious conversation about an actual substantive military campaign amongst the top level cabinet members in the United States of America, and there was no consciousness or awareness that a cockroach weasel, probably the worst, case scenario, a guy like Goldberg, was somehow included and privy into that conversation. If the investigation determines it's a hack, well, then we got it. We got our culprit. If the investigation determines, however, that this was gross negligence and incompetence, I personally, because I want to believe that this is the party, this is the administration that holds people accountable. We're not like the Democrats and the Hippocrats who are right now using this as fodder. They literally are on their way down the drain, and we just gave them a lifeline with this. By us keep deflecting it and saying, well, the Houthis are successful in playing politics and playing their ridiculous game. I was really surprised by Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard sounded like a robot. I'm going to reiterate, there was no classified information shared. Have we learned nothing about how we got here? Have we learned nothing about why we all love Trump and why he won the popular vote, why he won every single swing state, and why people love him, including probably nobody more than myself? I love him to death. You guys know that. It's because of his raw authenticity. Tulsi should have literally just said, look, I think this sucks. I think this stinks. I'm not happy about this. I came here to talk about XYZ, this achievement, this accomplishment, and this plan and this vision. This derails us. And if this investigation concludes that there was some sort of nefarious bad person involved on our end, we're going to take care of it and we're going to move on and make sure it never happens again. But that automaton robot, she sounded like Chris Murphy. She sounded like these ridiculous Democrats who have no soul. It kind of bummed me out. It really did. I'll be honest with you. So I hate to say this, but we have to be the party of accountability. America is back. But I don't think that we can just turn a blind eye to this. I think this is like any small crack, any chink in the armor, just like a little tiny bit of cancer. If we don't attack it quickly, it will grow. This has the potential to grow. Again, do I know he's a cockroach? Yes. Do I know he had a successful campaign? Yes. Is it permissible to use the app? Yes. Is there no classified information? I'll give you all of that. But this BS about it being a hoax, it being planned, that's just BS. This deflection is getting us nowhere. We don't know exactly what happened. We don't know exactly how he got in there. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think this is just like, Trump called it a glitch. It's the first glitch in 2 months. It's a glitch, but it's a glitch that can grow. And that that they're going to talk about it because we don't have the luxury of having the entire corporate media apparatus. Fox is completely silent on the issue. But they have network after network after network. And if you don't think they have power, look at the nutcases blowing up Tesla dealerships. We need to nip this in the bud. This investigation needs to come out conclusively. And as much as I love Pete Hegseth, as much as I love Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe and the entire cabinet, as much as I love Trump, somebody's head needs to roll. Unfortunately, I think it may have to be whoever created that thread. But again, we don't know yet, and I will keep you posted. But this is just my take. And I got to be honest with you, I'm a little shocked at what I'm hearing across so-called, quote unquote, conservative influencers and conservative leaders. Just because they are absolute crap doesn't mean that we can use that to justify this. Just because they are hoaxes and they are liars and they have not one shred of backbone and they commit fraud every single day of their breathing lives doesn't mean that we can justify it, because what I'm hearing is, well, you guys did this. This is no. That's not right. That's not leadership. That's not America. That's not visionaries. That's not Trump. Somebody's head needs to roll, period. Only if the investigation concludes that the reason that Goldberg was included in the text chain was due to incompetence and gross negligence. If it's something else, then it's something else. But if it's those two things, somebody's head, if not a couple heads, may need to roll, and I think they should. That's my take. And I'm hoping that you're here to get the truth, because I call it like I see it. I want America to succeed. I voted for Trump 4 or 5 times. God knows how many. Every single time in the last 4 or 5 elections, I voted for him. I want America to succeed. And this needs to be nipped in the bud. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. Please let me know in the comments down below. Check out these videos right here. If you missed this live stream that we did yesterday, check that out where we went over the entire Atlantic article. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It doesn't cost you a thing. And as always, it's your boy Nez saying, God bless you and God bless the USA. I'll see you soon.